This summer, I read as many books as possible in order to have a deeper understanding of writing young adult fiction, as well as teaching adolescents. Here is how I tracked my reading. The first thing I did was create a system for my notes. For many years, I've dabbled with collecting my reading life, but my system always failed. I've realized one of the reasons for this is because it was too cumbersome. When I saw these miniature composition notebooks in the store, I thought, why not? I put one in a quart-sized baggie along with some sticky notes, pens, and inspirational quotes. The portable nature of this system worked with me instead of against me, making it handy to use. About a third of my reading is via the Kindle app on my iPhone. This allows me to never be without a book. Within Kindle, I can highlight passages and take notes. These are easy to access later when I'm reflecting on the book. I also record writer's notebook entries in a Notes app or an email message and put these in my notebook later. All of the tools to read like a writer are in the palm of my hand and easy to use. I'm the kind of reader who becomes totally engrossed in the story, so I found myself just slipping in sticky notes but not stopping to write on them. At the end of the book, when recording thoughts, I would stop back at the sticky tags and remember why I marked that particular phrase or passage. This forced me to engage in reflective practice. At first, my marking seemed random, but soon lines of thinking and patterns emerged. As questions nagged at the edges of my mind, I became aware of the inner workings of the writing. For example, I wanted to understand tension. So I began marking places where I noticed tension, sometimes writing a note to myself about the art of creating tension. However, the direction of my learning wasn't always intentional. For instance, I learned the use of contrast as a tool for characterization as it kept popping up in book after book. I discovered how when qualities contrasted, they made each of the characters have stronger identities. First, I wasn't sure what to write, so I settled on recording some key information and then jotting a few of my thoughts. I collected the snippets from places I left trails of sticky notes, and I recorded both the lead and the ending. Eventually, I had a routine of writing my general thoughts, things I'm learning, and phrases and passages. It is nearly impossible to surround yourself with stories and notice how these stories work without wanting to write. Soon I tossed a miniature writer's notebook into my baggie. When I noticed in The Book Thief the way Marcus Zusak made use of short single-sentence paragraphs, I wanted to try it in my writer's notebook. I also recorded random thoughts about characters, settings, or secrets that pop into my mind while reading. Finally, I have a collection of attempts at techniques I can use in future mini lessons. Like most artistic endeavors, I found that reading like a writer has a natural ebb and flow. Some weeks I devoured books, reading more than a book a day. Other weeks it would take several days to get through a book, or a book would sit waiting for me to crack it open. Recently, I found myself reading for escape, and I didn't reflect much on the craft. It is the intentional act of reflection that makes us read like writers, and then the purposeful act of putting words on the page that helps make sense of the world through writing.